It is Sunday, 1900 UTC, 2100 CET, and some other times over for three North American people today. And welcome, Shane. You're our guest today. Going to talk a little bit about portable ops in Wisconsin. Um, I don't know if you've ever watched the show, Shane.
I never heard of this show until last week.
Oh my God.
When
No
I
one
was
else
on,
has either. Don't worry.
the ham radio dude was gracious enough to invite me to be on one of his live streams. And Morton and I can't pronounce your last name or your first name.
Bob.
Fair enough. We're on, and I guess you guys had him on as a guest last week. So after that, I looked up your show here, and wow, I've been missing out. I'm glad I discovered this. Thank you for coming around. So
awesome. And we usually start with our ham radio weeks. Just do a quick sum up of what we've been doing this week. So how has your ham radio week been, Shane?
Pretty uneventful. It's this time of the year where I have less hours and more things to do to get the house ready for winter and everything. So, but I did manage to go on a little hike yesterday along a nice trail here in Wisconsin called the Ice Age Trail. Hiked a couple of kilometers into it, and I brought one of my QRP kits with. So I had a nice little Leopold bench of a overlook, and I just sat there and casually did a Parks on the Air activation. Being QRP in a busy weekend, it's kind of hard to hold a frequency calling CQ, so I hunted other parks and hopped on the California QSO party and just relaxed on the bench for an hour or two. But that's been about all my ham radio this week, but it was a lot of fun.
Well,
sounds pretty perfect if you ask me.
Yeah. It does. And Kjetil, your ham radio week?
It's been fun, at least the last 24 hours. I went up to my club station. It's a 2-hour drive, so I don't do that too often. I did a lot of DX. I ran every continent except Antarctica on either digital or SSB. So that was really cool. Weird places like New Caledonia, North America, lots of South America, Belize, like lots of weird places and fun places. Like you can't reach them on with a QRP station, at least not from here. So that was fun. Did some field testing early in the week of that Retevis RT43 I won from your stream earlier this year, Martin.
Yeah,
really durable little rig. I had some unfortunate accidents with it.
Okay. If you don't have a picture ready, I am going to figure out where you posted that picture in Discord. So just go ahead and talk, and I'm gonna go through Discord.
That's not. You didn't get the good image just because I was afraid of a leak before the video comes out. But there may be some testing out of the design bounds of that radio, to say it that way. So that was really fun.
Is it okay if I share the picture from Discord? I mean, you posted it
there.
there.
Sure. Yeah. And also lots of, I did a few like portable operations just out doing parts on the air. No SOTA this week. The weather hasn't been very nice. So,
and I mean, this is just the perfect picture, though. And especially since we talked about radios and fires on one of the streams we were on last week. I can't remember which. So
yes. That's where I got that idea from. And, as a small hint, it wasn't this far from the fire all the time.
So I'm looking forward to this and see how this turns out, though. This is one video I'm looking forward to, and Nathan comments that it's a lovely axe. And you've been known to show off axes on streams before, Kjetil. So
oh yes, this is a Viking hand axe, but it can also be thrown. It's really accurate if you throw it. So that is very handy. Also today, the photo behind me here, that side, that's a German bunker. So I went, like, there's the bunkers on the air month this week or this month in the UK. And we don't have a program in Norway yet, but I so want one. So I'm going to try to get in touch with them and be allowed to spin off that. So I went to a bunker, a huge German fortress that was built here in the early 40s, and chased a UK bunker from there. So that was really cool. It felt like weird sitting there on like a German fortress talking to RAF listening post over in the UK.
Did you call bunker to bunker?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. That's the official one, but I don't have a bunker reference yet.
Yeah, and William asked about your axe, or what kind of axe it is.
No, it's not that brand. I don't remember it, the brand name, sadly.
So, and I think Stu asked about your QSO, if it was Edmund Nathan.
It was a Golf Whiskey, call sign Golf Whiskey 7 something. Golf Mike 3 Juliet Whiskey. It was John, I believe his name was.
Yeah. I actually got a Golf Delta today, and I had to look up where Golf Delta was, and that's the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
So now you know that.
So yeah, so that's fun. I hope we get it here in Norway. We have a lot of bunkers, both like new ones and old ones. So that could be fun.
And that opens up for another segment of portable radio.
Yes, and we have SOTAs with bunker in them. We have POTAs with bunkers in them. So we have bunkers everywhere.
Yeah. And let's see, Whiskey 2 Lima Bravo 5 Juliet. I guess you got something to tell us.
It's not all that much radio-wise, I'm afraid. I got a pretty bad cold last week, so I managed to take part in the club's 10-meter net, and that was about it. So this is the thing, that this is what makes this stream scary, because all of a sudden someone shows up with an axe, and that person has also an encyclopedic knowledge of the throwability and the aimability of a said axe. And so I'm wondering, where does this come up?
He asked me what kind of brand it is.
AR-15 over there. You want me to pull that out?
No, we don't want to be banned.
Well, we're not monetized yet, so I guess we're a little bit safer when it comes to weapons on stream.
Let's not pull at that particular cord.
No,
possibly end well.
But go ahead, Bob. You.
Other than that, I had to get a step in for the 2-meter sideband because I had absolutely no voice. And other than that, there's been traveling. My son and I were traveling for the better part of 24 hours yesterday. So very little radio this week. I'll try and rectify that in the coming weeks, at least in 2 weeks when I go to Sardinia. That's going to be a lot of radio, hopefully. But not really much to tell.
Now, what kind of radios did he bring to New York, though, Bob?
Only one, except for my iPhone, which is strictly also a radio. But yeah, the G90 and the Biltema power bank. That's what I have. I knew that would make you happy.
Yeah.
So, and let's see, Tobias's cat. How has your ham radio week been?
Yeah, my ham radio week has been busy, kind of. Hang on a second. Let me get the right picture.
Yeah.
I managed, that's where we left last week. Okay, I'm out of frame. I'll lean over a bit.
I will.
Nah, it's okay. You don't have to zoom in. It's not so interesting. So I
Let's all
was
lean in.
installing the W0, what was it? CPH WPSD digital voice band on my hotspot. Because I think the original Pi-Star software is maybe no longer maintained, or the author has some health issues and can't maintain it anymore. I'm not exactly sure. So I tried that and managed to install it, and it looks very nice. So everybody can try that, or I would recommend to try that. And then I think I had as a second option, this is just the video editor. I had a QSO with Golf 5 Tango Mike with Tim. I think he went live one evening ad hoc, and I managed to catch him. And I managed that I was completely off frequency, or I saw that I was completely off frequency with my TS50. So I, basically went through the TCXO alignment procedure. So hooking up the scope here to the TS50 and also hooking up a GPSDO, and then basically trying to get the frequency adjusted. But I don't know. This is the video. It still needs to be cut. I just, wanted to quickly show it. And what else have we done? Let me see.
You dismantled that Albrecht radio.
Right, that was an ad hoc stream on Friday. Maybe you want to rewatch it. I think that was quite fun. Well, at least I had fun. I don't know if all the listeners had fun as well.
And it was interesting because I had one of those, except that was branded an ICOM IC2E. And I threw mine for recycling when I couldn't get it to work. And I was a little bit jealous when I saw you get the radio working.
So this was basically the bunch of stuff that I found in my attic. 2 old CB radios and the Albrecht here behind me. Sorry, I'm a bit confused today. Yeah, that was the live stream about dismantling that and having a look at it. I think, maybe it's worth rescuing. Maybe I should go through the hassle of recapping it. And the last thing is I continue my odyssey with the Enfed half-wave transformers, but I think my antenna that goes down in the garden is a bit knackered. I think I have somewhere a bad connection because the SWR is way higher than what it was when I initially built it. So somewhere I have probably some corrosion. Yeah, and then finally, you heard the news, what's happening in Israel. Let me transition. And I'm working for an Israeli company, and I have basically work colleagues that I email and talk with daily, now under siege, basically, or being attacked. So, that was not such a happy last 2 days. And I hope for the best that they all get out of this unharmed and their families. Yeah, that was my ham radio week, more or less.
Yeah.
So, sorry for the downer at the end, but I had to mention it.
Yeah, and you managed a lot in your ham radio week, though. You usually have one or two things, but this week you've been busy, Tobias.
Yeah,
sometimes I'm lucky.
That radio was completely perfect yesterday. We had a QSO I believe it was 40 meters. Right?
Yeah, right. I managed to catch Hjetil. I basically cheated a bit and pinged him on Discord, and we had a small QSO, and it's really amazing. Once it's properly aligned, you can really recognize the voice because we are chatting here like every Sunday, and suddenly you recognize the other person's voice with your radio, and I say, hey, yeah, now I'm on frequency.
Yep.
Yeah. I would say that perhaps Hjetil was cheating a little bit with his station as well.
Maybe the 1 kilowatt helped.
No, I don't think so.
It's Italian QRP. Walt, you've been out playing with vertical Enfeds this week. I saw that.
I made a vertical yesterday. I made a vertical Enfed halfway for 10 meters. I was experimenting and looking around. The cool thing is that X10 unknown I have, you can switch between 49 to 1, 56 to 1, and 64 to 1. And I've been looking for so much information on vertical half waves for 10 meters, and it's not out there. I said, okay, so I'll go out there with this thing and try it. And I had a gut feeling that 64 to 1 was going to be the match, and it was. So I put one up on the 10-meter DX Commander pole yesterday, and just with the G90 with 20 watts, man, it was a blast, man. That thing was it was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun with it. So I'm having a love affair with the 10-meter band right now. It's right now here in the mid-Atlantic United States, all day, every day, right, for the last couple of weeks. It's been really like popping and really good. Things have just been wonderful and open. So I had a lot of fun with that. I want to get all of that 10-meter I can while I can, because everybody knows that band and how it is. But other than that, the other thing too that's really coming alive right now here with autumn is medium wave DXing. I've done a lot of listening over the last week, and I get up in the morning. It's very early, go to work, and I come on the radio, and it's funny, the Caribbean and Cuba and whatever right now on medium wave in the mornings, you can like there's a couple stations in Cuba that sound like locals here right now. So I like to watch that because it kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in the ionosphere, you know, with propagation or whatever. And that great ionosphere in the sky right now over top of me is in pretty good shape. Let's just hope we don't. And I'm sure it's coming. We'll get a good flare and it'll black us out a little bit. But things are well, and I've enjoyed that. So that was pretty much my week. As far as ham's concerned, just building that antenna yesterday. I've got a whole sketchbook full of ideas of other stuff I want to do. I got to make my mind up for this week what I want to do. But that was last week's ham radio week.
No, that's a good week though. I haven't been operating that much, and you all know what happens when you don't operate a lot of radio.
You buy new antennas or
Yeah,
radios or
yeah,
whatever.
you do. So I'm just going to start sharing here because I came across an antenna used on Wednesday. I think it was. I had Wednesday and Thursday off work, and I came across this antenna used. It's a 2-element shortened Yagi for 2015 and 10, and it was such a good price that I figured I should buy it and emailed the guy, made an agreement to come pick it up, and then he mentioned that it was about 10 centimeters longer than I had room for in my car. So let's see what happened. My cheap antenna, which was about 110 euros, 110 US dollars, turned out to require a rental van for the same amount and about 45 euros dollars for diesel. So the cheap antenna turned out not to be so cheap. And then I've been looking for a Yaesu FD something for a while, and went to the club meeting on Thursday, and it turned out that I came home with this little guy, the FT2D. And if that wasn't enough, I picked up a couple of ham sticks and a new 2-meter mobile antenna from a Silent Key. So I went out to do some POTA today with ham sticks. 2017 and 15 went down to salt water, and I've heard some rumors that there's a YouTuber that talks a little bit about the benefits of operating close to salt water. So I parked about a meter from salt water, started calling CQ first on 20, and 2 hours later, it was about time for dinner, and the pilot was still running.
Oh, God.
And I got, this is all SSB though, all sideband. I got anywhere from Wisconsin to China.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing.
I had a constant pilot for 2 hours on 3 bands. And the thing is, though, I filmed the whole thing, but I ran out of battery on my phone. So I need to go back at approximately the same time tomorrow. And please don't tell anyone, but I'm going to shoot the intro, the outro, and the B-roll tomorrow at approximately the same time around sunset.
Wait, don't you always shoot the intro after filming the rest of the show? That's much easier because you know what's happening.
Yeah,
Exactly. And you can do the summary much easier.
The thing is, though, I usually start with recording the QSOs because if I don't get anything exciting, there's no point of recording B-roll, intro, or outro. Then I can just delete the footage. So,
Yeah.
But this puts an awful lot of pressure on you to dress exactly the same way, doesn't it?
either that or just cheat and say that the other day I had a great POTA.
Probably easier.
I still need to shoot some B-roll though, because I was down to 1% on my phone while filming the B-roll. So, yeah, but hopefully that'll be a halfway decent video. And yeah, I've been playing a little bit with the All-Star. That was, I'm going to do it like this. Been playing with All-Star as well, and ended up having a QSO with a young guy from, I think it was Colorado, which got licensed the same day. So I was his first QSO. And even though it was on an All-Star link, he wasn't an All-Star linked repeater. His first QSO as a technician was to Norway. And I think I made his day doing that.
That is
And
cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, and on that note, I've been playing around with the DMR hotspot, and it turns out that since I have the All-Star node and the DMR hotspot somewhere close to within what's allowed in the band plan, they kind of do not play well together.
Mm.
So I need to figure out how to make that work better. If I can separate them on different places in the house or something. But with both of them in the shack being really close frequency-wise, there is a bit of interference between them.
Aren't they really low power, both of them?
The DMR hotspot is really low power. The All-Star node is 5 watts, and
Oh,
no way of turning the power down. So I got a really bad antenna on it. Probably should just put a dummy load on it and let it radiate through a dummy load. And I think that's my ham radio week as far as I can remember now. So should we do the contest first? The guess the mode?
Yeah, let's.
I guess so. We need to be within the first 30 minutes, if I remember correctly.
No, that's for the drawing, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have one additional since we're doing things purchased. Let's see. Ooh.
Oh,
Yes. My DX Commander travel pole has taken quite a few beatings, so it's now 50% of the weight is now tape. So I figured I'd get a new one, and I was shopping around comparing these, and this one is from Soda Beams. It's 2 centimeters shorter than the DX Commander thing, and it exactly fits diagonally in my American Tourister suitcase that I like to travel with. So I can bring this
perfect.
without my suitcase turning into a parallelogram, which is what I have been doing. So, yeah.
Is that a carbon 6?
This is fiberglass 6. No, it's a fiberglass 10.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
So
the
it's
same thing
that's-
I'm using.
Yeah,
So-
I'm hoping it's a good must. I've heard some horror stories, but I think that's more the weather at your end, Kjetil.
Yes.
So it's not coming across. This is the thinnest section, so it's not really awfully thin at the top.
Oh, you
It
took
looks-
off the thinner sections then.
It looks on a window about this small. It looks thicker than the DX Commander, the top element of the DX Commander, 10 meter.
I don't have it here. I couldn't say. I'm not sure.
No.
It really doesn't matter as long as it's a wire antenna that you bring up along it. Doesn't really matter. But if I want to put a 2x22 with a proper mount for a ladder line on top there, then it matters. Yeah.
So what do you have to tell us about the contest or the competition, the giveaway, the guess the mode thing we have, Bob?
Yeah. Well, I can explain the idea once again. I think the idea is to play the sound of some sort of mode, hopefully some sort of interesting mode, and we invite all our viewers to guess what the mode is. If you want to guess, you can send an email to cq@hamshow.eu. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. And we will play the clip twice. We will play it now without any further information, and towards the end of the show, we'll play it again, and I'll provide some hints as well. I have to look up these hints because I forgot in all my travelings, but I shall manage that. And next week we will draw a winner of a cap, just like this, with the exception that it's not going to be my call sign. It's going to say hamshow.eu, and we will send that to a randomly selected person among the correct answers. Is the idea. William, I'm not going to try to pronounce that last name, but William won the last one, and that is now, in fact, actually on its way. Quite a bit of work doing drop shipping from China. I needed basically everything but his social security number. So that was interesting.
So should we just go ahead and play the clip?
Yeah, let's play the clip.
And
I think
don't
Go
answer
ahead.
in the chat. Don't answer in the chat. Send emails to the email address. So and then we'll do the drawing next week. So here's this week's clip.
all the presenters mute, please.
And the sad thing is, I know straight away what mode this is.
It's we've spoken about it on stream. I can say that we've spoken about it on stream before, and I think it's a very cool mode. And let's keep the rest of the spoilers for sometimes later in the show.
We will. And it's perhaps time to go to our topic, though. So Shane, you do a lot of portable operations, at least from what I can see on your YouTube channel. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your ham story? How did you get into portable operations?
Sure, absolutely. I think like a lot of people, I had interest in ham radio when I was young. But, I'm a Gen Xer, so there's no internet at the time and no family members or nearby people who are into ham radio. So I couldn't type into the internet to see ham club nearby. So it was just something that I never got a start onto. But I've always had that interest. And then I got a little older and then with school, it was playing sports and chasing girls. And then it was off to school and chasing girls and then starting your career and all that stuff. And now that I'm middle-aged, I have the time, I decided to look more into it. And I live out in the country and a lot of my passions have been the outdoors. I enjoy the hunting, the fishing, camping, backpacking, skiing, all that kind of stuff. And for me, ham radio came up again as a great thing to do while going out hiking and backpacking. Also for the safety aspect of it, but purely for the fun of it, So a few years ago, I finally decided to get my ham radio license, and I went back into study mode, first time since university or college. So my original goal is just to get my technician license. I thought having a mobile radio at home and in my vehicle would be nice, and a little handy talkie when backpacking. But then I looked into it and what it'd take to get a general license, the intermediate license here in America. It wasn't that much more work, so I figured I'll just go all in. And I went and I tested for technician and general at the same time. And I found HF to be interesting, but not enough for me to get into it. Then a few years back, I was getting ready for a business trip where I was going to go to Southern California. And the coworker I was going to go with was also into backpacking. And our customers, the project manager on their end was also in the backpacking. So they're like, well, hey, we'll arrange your trip to be here on a Friday. And then you guys we can go backpacking over the weekend so you can experience the mountains of California. And I'm like, all right, you talked me into it. So going back to YouTube, I started researching this mountain. It's Mount Baldy. It's one of the higher peaks in California. And in one of those videos was a guy who was doing a soda activation. And like I said, I've heard of soda and I've seen glimpses of it, and I didn't give much information or interest into it. But as soon as I saw that video with him up on this bare mountain with a little KX2 making single sideband contacts all over the place, it just, all right, I'm doing that, and then I started binge watching soda videos after that and taking notes. I mean, I'm the type of guy that has a journal with them, and I'm writing down different radios and different antennas and stuff that they're doing. And the next thing you know, a few weeks later, a Zygu 5105 showed up at my house with a random wire end fed, and I went out to the nearest soda summit that's nearby me. It's about an hour's drive away. It's a 2-pointer. And I went up there and I threw the wire in the tree and I got on the mic and I said, CQ soda. And it dawned on me that was the very first time I keyed the mic on HF. And then I went instantly from, boy, I hope people hear me, to, oh man, I hope nobody hears me because I don't know what I'm doing. But unfortunately, in the middle of the United States, with 5 watts of power and the contacts weren't fast and furious, I got 4 or 5 contacts that were 2 or 3 minutes apart, and I'm like, okay, I'm putting it down. I'm done. I don't want to get a pile up yet. But from that moment on, I was hooked. And then in my area, there's tons and tons of parks on the air, so I got into parks on the air and been having a blast with that ever since for the last 2 or 3 years.
That is so cool. What a great story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
did you get Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo November on your first?
Nope, not on the first try. But yeah, I think we brought them up on Ham Radio Tubes or Ham Radio Dudes live stream last week.
Yep.
That's why I knew I was getting the hang of soda when I got Foxtrot 4 Whiskey November in the log. It was soda operators know. All you have to hear is Foxtrot 4, and you know who it is. He's got a very distinct voice and everything, and it really made my day. I was jumping up and down like a little school kid on Halloween or something.
I envy you soda guys. I don't have anywhere around me that's more than 5 meters above sea level. So I would have to drive 3 or 4 hours to do a soda activation. But man, it's so cool to watch you guys. That is amazing.
That's pretty much where I am. Like I said, the closest one to me is about an hour's drive, and most of the summits and up here, I go into Minnesota, Wisconsin, Upper Michigan. I gotta do a 4 or 5 hour drive one way, and it's typically like a 4-point summit. So the rewards for the effort aren't that high, but it's a lot of fun, and you just have to.
Yeah, and it's not about the points though. It's about getting out and getting on the air and getting fresh air, testing your equipment, just having a day where you can feel like a kid again and play with toys.
But
it's a little bit about the points too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like many in amateur radio, I have an engineering background. I'm a project engineer now. So the logistics side of it is fun for me, where I'm looking at the Google Maps and everything and figure out how, looking at the daylight and everything and the ideal time. And okay, I'm going to have to leave my house at this time. I'm going to have to, figure out those logistics is a little bit of fun for me. So
Shane, we think too much alike. I do the same thing, man. I'll get over and I'll look at the world time map or whatever. I look at the muff map. I look at everything and get planned out. There you go. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. The planning side of things is fun for me. So
and I'm just gonna go to what every ham needs in his shack is one of these, a ham clock.
Yeah.
The amount of data you can show in that is just amazing.
So here the planning is basically like, is the weather okay? Is it safe to go there? Is there a big solar storm going on? And if not, go for a SOTA hike.
Yep.
And for Ketil's spot, when he says, "Is the weather okay?" You may want to quantify that, because when you say weather okay, it doesn't mean the same thing as for the rest of us. I know.
No.
Yeah. There's
the hailstorm below 1 centimeter still fine, right?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'm on the 45th parallel, so I get a wide range of temperatures. I'm far from any ocean or mountain range to impact our weather, so I get a wide range of weather here. We get everything but hurricanes. In the wintertime, it can get lows can be 30 degrees Celsius, and the highs won't get above minus 18 Celsius for a week or two at a time. And then in the winter or in the summertime, we can get a week or two where the highs are in 35 Celsius. So for me, if I wait for the ideal weather, there's no such thing. I wouldn't do much. So you have to take some weather, but there's the point where the weather is inconvenient or the weather's going to try to kill you. So you don't go out in thunderstorms. You don't go out when it's 20 below. You do a little risk assessment, but I won't let a little drizzle get in my way. But especially if I spent a couple hours planning a SOTA activation and I'm on the right way.
Yeah, there's also a requirement in SOTA that you go safe. By the way, is my audio level better now?
It seems a little bit louder.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
What type of
We don't
engineering
have-
background do you have? Are you from the electrical world of engineering?
No, I'm on the mechanical side of things. I got a degree in mechanical engineering. Most of my work experience has been with tool and die, plastic injection molding. So I have a tooling background. And then for the last 15 years, I've been project management. I worked for about 7 years at a small defense contractor as a project manager. And now I work for a custom molder for the medical industry as a project manager.
Yeah, we're very similar backgrounds. Mine's structural, civil structural background. And the reason I was asking is I think that's why ham radio is so cool and exciting for guys like me or you, because we're not EEs. You know what I mean? If I was an electrical engineer, I'd want to work all week in the electrical engineering world and then go play ham radio. It's kind of really cool. And like you seem a lot like me too. It's great to learn another part of the physics world that you didn't study your whole life. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun, but that's cool. I too, very similar to you, and worked with in shipbuilding and I've been a DoD contractor since I started for 40 years, and worked in in here recently 3D modeling and construction type stuff for not just for shipbuilding, but also for I was in Poland. We were working the Aegis Ashore missile sites and stuff like that. So it's kind of neat to I've been more of a field engineer now the last 10 years or so. I'm on site getting yelled at by everybody because we produce the drawings and they can't build it from the drawings, and I'm the guy that gets beat up. But that's why I was asking you that, though. I was wondering if you had a different engineering, and you did, because you're a lot like me. You find ham radio and RF engineering per se or whatever so exciting because it's something new. You know what I mean? It really is something different than what you do all day every day. So that's
and the fun thing with ham radio, I think, whichever way you get into it, is, it's the hobby of hobbies, and one of those inner hobbies is the tinkering in the building, where you're so open to, as Tobias is doing, finding some old radios in the attic and going, well, let's open it up and see what I can do with them, and and it's just like doing portable with the weather. As long as you're being safe, go ahead and take a little bit of a chance and see what you do. The worst thing you do is you let the magic smoke out if you're safe.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, for my part, when it comes to weather, I've been out in the 20 below. Doesn't bother me, but I'm sort of afraid to go ahead.
20 below centigrade, right? Not Fahrenheit.
Kelvin.
I don't know what Fahrenheit is. I'm a scientist, as I say.
Yeah.
So
Fahrenheit is minus 20 Fahrenheit is a lot cooler than minus 20 Celsius.
Well,
okay, I believe you if you say it.
Minus 20 is cold. Doesn't matter which scale you use. Where you use
that's minus 4 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, where you use the scale that makes sense, or if you use Fahrenheit. 20 below is cold.
For those people, the countries that haven't put a man on the moon yet, centigrade work.
but I bet all of those German engineers actually used metric, though, to put the man on the moon.
Yeah, I think so.
But you mean as opposed to when they tried to put a rover on Mars and just half of them used the metric system?
But to follow up one question there from Jeff, Shane, do you have any, he asked if I had bears over here, but do you have any kind of dangerous animals over there? Do you have cougars, or do you have bears or snakes or rattlesnakes? Or
fortunately, in my area is pretty relaxed. We have black bear and we have some timber wolves, but a wolf, you will not see them. They'll see you long before, and they don't like us, so they'll stay away. The most dangerous thing I could ever run into would probably be getting between a black bear mama and her cubs during the spring. But again, the black bears, they're pretty small, and they know the sound of the human, and they stay away. So fortunately, I'd have to try to find a poisonous snake in this area. So there's no venomous snakes. along the trail, no scorpions, no plants that bite like cactus or anything like that here. It's probably the most dangerous thing, and joking aside, would probably be the ticks.
Yep.
The deer ticks and stuff, because they'll carry
Yep.
Lyme's disease and other things. So biggest threat for animals is just checking yourself for ticks, and that's about it.
We have a
Same as
saying
here
in Norway as when it comes to bears that you don't have to be able to outrun a bear. You just have to be able to outrun the slowest person in your party.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep.
But then again, there aren't a lot of bears in Norway, though.
Yep.
No.
So we have
Northern
elk though, or moose.
Bears, though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
moose
polar
are
bears.
big.
Yeah,
I'm
moose are
afraid of
big.
moose. I'm
Oh, yeah.
really afraid of
Yeah.
moose. When I'm out in the wilderness, I'm really afraid to meet one of these
And you
huge
should-
animals.
You
Yep.
should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're too big to be scared of anything. They're
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
they know they're tasty.
I live out in the woods, and there have been times where there's been a moose in between our house and the school bus,
Yeah,
and that is not a pleasant situation.
Nope.
but if you go up to Juliet Whiskey to Svalbard, you can do SOTA there, but you can't do it alone. You need to have somebody there as an armed guard.
Yeah,
So because of the polar bears. So
it is the only place in Norway where you are required to wear a firearm.
My rule of thumb: if I have to go someplace where I think I need a gun, I'm not going to go there.
That's a good rule of thumb. A very good rule of thumb.
Very sensible.
No sort of activation is worth becoming a polar bear dinner. That sounds a little. No.
I read an activation report a few years back. I think it was on the Facebook group. Somebody went up to a summit and he just showed a photo of a cougar lying there on the summit, and he went down again.
You win.
And I guess that's the animal kind of cougar, isn't it?
I was going to say,
No, so sorry. That point was just it was waiting for someone to grab
I
it.
know
So
it was just hanging out there. I knew it was coming.
Yeah, wasn't his wife? So
Oh, funny. Too funny.
let's see. But yeah, sounds like Wisconsin is a pretty safe place though to go portable operation to do portable operations.
And especially for parks on the air, we have a lot of great, very large parks. We have, besides the state parks that people are accustomed to, we also have state forest and state wildlife management areas where literally 2 miles behind me, there's a wildlife management area that's over 40,000 acres.
Wow.
So that gives me all kinds of opportunity. And that's the fun thing for me with parks on the air is you can operate almost however you want. I can drive in there with a vehicle and operate right out of the vehicle or off the hood. I can go onto a picnic table, or I can hike a couple miles with a backpack and a QRP kit and do whatever I want. So it's for a portable operator, parks on the air. If you have a state forest or a wildlife area that's thousands of acres to it, that gives you a good playground to venture off and see what you can do with your portable setup.
Absolutely, and that's what fascinates me about parks in the air because it's so diverse. Like today, I drove down to the harbor, which is part of a coastal trail here, and set up between the saltwater and the railroad. I had about 1 meter to the saltwater and 20 meters to the railroad. So every time a train passed, I had the S9 plus 60 noise. But besides that, but then again, from those parks to the parks where you have to walk into the woods and find a place and prepare actually a little bit. But that makes it, even though the weather is bad, you can still operate and do some POTA from your car. And if it's nice weather, you can go out and do a hike and do something in between.
we have some hike POTAs here that could just as well be SOTAs. Like they are extreme journeys, and others that like they're trivial. That's so fun about that part of it. Or if it's POTA, whatever other it is, that like you have a variation and you get to practice using your gear outdoors. Like, there's
Mhm.
not many people that are so prepared for disaster recovery or communications than a portable operator, because
Mhm.
we know our
Mhm.
gear, we know how to put it up in any kind of weather or
Mhm.
any condition.
But Kjetil, how do we charge it in this apocalypse you're talking about?
you plug it in.
That was my point too. Yeah.
Yeah, your neighbor bought the diesel generator.
I have a generator, but I need petrol for it.
Yeah. So you can't do very much, but still you're prepared for a little while. So
Yeah.
that is
Yes,
fun.
like K0 KLB does, and get you a exercise bike that generates electricity. Have you guys seen Kevin do that? It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Jetel, I just subscribed to your channel last week, and I saw some of your videos. That Summits on the Air meetup that you had was just breathtaking. And it shows the terrain you're in, and then your recent video with the weather. And I'm watching some of that, and it's like, oh, that looks like fun. I can handle that. And then the next thing's like, nope, I'm staying by the campfire. I'm not going out.
Yeah. But that last video, that was like the worst things I've had for 8 years, like the worst clips. But some of these are days I just went out to see, like, how can you operate in a hurricane? Can I get my antenna up? Can I get QSOs? I couldn't get the antenna up, but I could get QSOs. So it's like just testing, and if it didn't work, it didn't.
And that's one thing, we brought up for the emergency preparedness for people that are into this, for that aspect. And here in the United States, we have the ARES and RACES groups where amateur radios assess emergency personnel. I know a few people that they're really into that. And then you ask them, you want to go out and do a Parks on the Air, and they go, well, it might rain. I don't want to get my radio wet. And stuff like that. Which I fully understand. And I'm not going to shun anybody that doesn't want to go out in the rain. But if your goal is for emergencies, the first time you try to set up a radio in the rain shouldn't be in an emergency. It should be in something where, like you said, well, I'm not having a good time. It doesn't work. I got to work on it. Versus when you're called to do an emergency activity, now you're a failure. Now what do you do? So for those who are
never get mad about people, those are the guys that don't peel the plastic off the front of the radio. When they
Oh yeah.
I get those comments all the time on my channel. Like, there's no way I'd take my radio out on a beach. I'm like, all right, then you'll never experience a beach. Then you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah, you'll never experience the joy of losing a PL plug into the wet sand and trying to clean it. All that kind of stuff. But our local, we have a local emergency communications group as well, same as your ARES thing, and we had a meet up with them a few weeks back when they met up at the Pota Park, and just 6 or 7 people turned up with HF rigs, and everybody rigged up and just tried running portable. And some of them, most of them had done it to some degree before, but not very much. So lots of learning experience. You don't need 100 watts to transmit 50 meters, stuff like that. And the guy on the other end doesn't like you sending that.
Right.
Yeah. So, but do you do any kind of other programs that mentioned POTA and Summits on the Air? Do you have any others over there?
No, that's the 2 activities that in my area, at least, that we do a lot. I know there's also Islands on the Air, but we don't have it. We have the Great Lakes, but none of the islands on there are qualifying. So,
well, I saw Mike N2MAK did Islands on the Air on one of the lakes in upstate New York on his last video. So
I saw that too, and that's not fair.
Manhattan's an island, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it needs to be some certain distance from the coast.
Right.
Yeah.
Certain
I think it might
distance.
fail on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you cannot operate remote for islands on the air as far as I understood. You need to be physically present at your rig on the island. I got a buddy
Yeah.
of mine that's got his remote set up on an IOTA island, and he can never call CQ IOTA from there.
Sure.
So
Yeah, and there are some other rules as well. So,
and there's a question here from Steve. Do you have a worldwide flora fauna in the States?
I believe we do, but it's
not very popular here.
yeah,
really.
it's just
no.
Parks on the Air took off and everybody's just all POTA. I've heard of it. I don't know if there's any entities near me or anything, and I just haven't looked into it.
And
There are some active people.
Yeah, Chetan, you are a resident worldwide flora fauna guy, so you could probably answer some of that.
There are some people. There are some actually some very active hunters from over there that hunt same as Foxtrot 4 Whiskey Bravo November. I think it's Kilo Delta 1 Charlie Tango. He's almost always there when you're doing QRP over here. And some Canadian people doing it. So that's fun. But it's never going to be big in the States.
Yeah.
No,
POTA, I mean, POTA is pretty much taking over every country where it comes, though, because it's so.
So in Europe during a contest, you wake up on a Saturday morning and cut it on, and it's wall-to-wall contest. Right now in the States, like on 20-meter band during the summer, get up on a Saturday morning and cut the radio. It's wall-to-wall POTA. It's that same kind of that culture, like I said, a contest weekend in Europe.
Yeah,
POTA here is the same way on a nice summer day or whatever across. It's wall-to-wall POTA. POTA is huge. I mean, it's getting huge everywhere, but nothing will overtake it here.
Yeah,
but I like what they're doing in the UK that we opened up with the bunkers on the air. That's kind of neat, and I like how it's not. It's that sweet spot where it's not like soda and POTA where it's year round and it's not a contest. It's short. I believe it's like for a month. So I like the idea of these little one-off things are unique for a certain region or area, and it's only for a limited time. That's the only thing similar that I think of is in the United States where we have the 13 colonies week over the Independence Day week. That's kind of a interesting thing to see if you can get those all. But yeah, that bunkers on the air, that's a really interesting concept. I think that looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw Fraser Radio Rovers video on it, and it looks like a really neat concept.
Yeah. Shane, here in Norfolk, my harbor here, our museum ship is the USS Wisconsin of all things. We get a lot of Wisconsin visitors here, but it was home ported here in Norfolk. I am a very active member in the USS Wisconsin Radio Club, and like you said, it's nice. We do our I'm sure you've heard of museum ships on the air weekends. And I like going over there, getting in the radio room in the ship and operating. And it's funny why I asked the bunker to bunker. A lot of guys, they'll just sit there and call CQ. I'll get on one of the radios and go hunt the other ships. And when they have pileups, I'll yell, "Ship the ship, ship the ship." Break pile up every time. I'll go, "Ship the ship, USS Wisconsin, ship the ship."
I was hoping that would come up in discussion, Walt, because I'm a big history buff, and especially naval history has always been a fascination with me. My grandfather served on a Liberty ship during World War II. His brother was a submariner during World War II. So anything maritime fascinates me. And you bring up Wisconsin. I like to follow. Probably my favorite channel on YouTube is the Battleship New Jersey, the museum ship. They do a fantastic job. Yeah. And because I watched that a lot, a couple or at least a year ago, a suggestion came up with the radio room on Wisconsin. I'm like, hey, an Iowa class ship that's named after my state in the radio room. I gotta check that out. And it was your video. So that's how I discovered your video. It wasn't from my ham radio side of things. It's from my naval history side of things I came across. So yeah, that if I ever make it down to that area, I'm definitely going to be looking you up and seeing how
definitely.
quickly I can play radio inside the battleship. That would be fun.
Definitely do that. Get in touch with me for sure. We'll get there. I can get access to the radio room, and we'll get in there and play.
And I see you get some kudos from Nathan here, Shane.
I noticed that. Yep. It's not a submariner. No, it's a submariner. Yep.
I see that we're getting close to the hour now, though, and this has really flown past us. But should we do another segment of the Guess That Mode, Bob?
Yeah, let's play that one more time, and I'll shut up, and afterwards I'll give you 2 more factoids about the clip we're hearing.
Yeah, and we'll let me see. I'll just put up the banner first so people know where to send the right answers. And let's go ahead and play it. So, what can you tell us about this?
This is a mode where there's actually many factoids that I could share, but most of them would make it too easy to guess. So I'm going to do something very generic and tell you that it's got a symbol rate of 122.5 baud. There are different, you can adjust this. So there's different kinds of this mode that you can adjust the symbol rate. But this, what we just heard, is 122.5 baud symbol rate. And it consumes a bandwidth of 350 hertz. So that's the facts that you get for this one, and it should be a fairly simple one. Looking forward to seeing correct answers all week. Please mail them in.
I could probably say that I've done a stream on this Digimode, but then I had my Digimode Monday series where I did pretty much any Digimode, so I don't think that narrows it down significantly anyway.
Nope.
That was the wrong button, actually. Let's see. And yeah, I'll put that up. Send your answers to CQ at hamshow.eu. And we'll go through the answers and draw it next week for that fantastic European Ham Radio Show hat. So let's see. Should we do our next week segment then? Apparently not.
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So Shane, any plans to come in week for Ham Radio?
Oh, it's going to be a big weekend. Michael KD9NJJ, pretty popular Portal YouTuber, is hosting a camp out here in Wisconsin. About 4-hour drive for me. So I'm going to take a few days off work, and I'm going to spend the whole weekend in a state forest campground doing Parks on the Air and other activities. So I'm really looking forward to that. Should be fun. I think the last time they checked, there's going to be about 25 people who are going to be camping out the whole weekend. So it'll be a rather large group of ham radio enthusiasts. So that'll make the other campers a little nervous, but it'll be fun.
And next week is Support Your Parks weekend, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that'll help even more if you go out on that weekend doing Parks on the Air.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Oh boy, I better bring in their battery. That'll be good.
Kjetil, any plans for next week?
Yeah, on Wednesday I'm holding a presentation about Parks on the Air for a local radio club. So that's going to be fun, just telling them about what this weird stuff is. And hopefully some of them will start going portable active as well. Would be fun with some more activators locally here. Other than that, it's probably going to be weather dependent. And only thing I know is that I need to rewire a 49-to-1 transformer or make a new one because mine just doesn't work very well anymore. So that's it.
That's it. But that's no simple task to wind a transformer if you ask. I I have my All-Star node on. That's no simple task if you ask Tobias, though. You've had some struggle. He has some struggles with this 49-1. So hopefully,
but I'll use both hands.
Oh, that is almost unfair.
Quite honestly, we had a picture of Tobias's 49-1 on screen here earlier. That thing looks pretty much perfect.
Yeah,
So, I think it's the wire behind the transformer that's the problem. I think it has been out there for maybe 2 years now, and I don't know, maybe some of the connection have gone bad.
Mine is not going to look as beautiful as that.
No, I showed you all on my the video I made on the radiostuff.com NFED halfway kit, and I think I titled the video "Good Antenna, Poor Build," and my windings did not look good at all, but they work. Bob, New York City, PODA, is that your next week?
That's probably most of my radio weeks. I looked it up on the Summits on the Air website. The place is called Palisades HP. I don't know. HP might be High Point, I'm guessing, because it's not a summit. It's not a mountain. It's 169 meters above sea level, and I can let's see. That's across the Hudson River from what's called Yonkers.
So that's in New Jersey then.
New Jersey,
right?
Yes, New Jersey probably, yes. So
and,
that's the hope to get up there. That's both a PODA park and a soda summit. And if I don't manage, I'll just do the activation from the monument in Battery Park here on Manhattan Island.
And since you're in a country without working public transportation, how do you plan to get to that high point?
Hey, he's in the biggest. There is more public transportation in New York than anywhere in the world.
In New York, in New York City, but once you get over to New Jersey, it's not that good though.
Yeah,
Uber.
You can Uber.
Yeah.
I did that once. I took an Uber from North Bergen, New Jersey, to Manhattan, and it wasn't really that expensive. But I didn't want to rent a car in or on Manhattan, so I rented the car in New Jersey to not have to drive in New York City.
We might take if there's a subway taking us closer, we might take a subway for a part of it. But I'm going to get an Uber to drive us to the final destination. I'm not going to try and get that on public transport. I'm not fond of public transport, by the way. I really like having my own car. If I can't have my own car or be driven by a taxi, I would rather walk.
So New York is not the right city for you then?
New York is perfect. I love walking.
Tobias, any plans for next week?
Yeah, I have an order coming in from Vimo. I was weak and ordered a few ham sticks and a mag mount with 3 magnets and some bits and bobs and adapters. And yeah, a few seconds later, I had a bill of €300, but that's how it is.
and just not to brag or anything, but ham sticks do work.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
So absolutely, and they're an easy way of getting on the air, especially when mobile. So I can strongly recommend that. Any other plans than that?
Yeah, I'm just have the 3D printer running, and you probably hear it when I'm talking in the background. I put that nice NFED half-wave transformer into my box and wanted to close the lid, and then I saw, 3 millimeters missing. So I'm just reprinting the lid with a few changes so that I can close the box.
Yeah, that is nice. I was thinking you probably printed around the transformer.
Well, actually, I used a model that I found a few years ago on Thingiverse, and it had a very thick inner bit, so I cut a little dent in the middle. So I'll show you when it comes out of the printer.
Awesome. Walt, any by the sea plants?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I'm in love with 10 meters right now while it's open, so I'm going to do some more on 10 meters this week. I'm sure. I keep a like Shane was saying, it must be an engineering thing. I keep a notebook and whatever, and I've got sketches all in. I've got like 4 or 5 different ideas of things I want to do, but I'm going to definitely do that this week. And I got a chance here too, Shane, man. It was so cool meeting you here in person instead of just seeing a video on there, man. And I really thank you for being a part of this. It's nice to have another American here while I'm surrounded by all these European guys.
Wait. You're no longer identifying as an European?
Oh yeah, I identify as a European until we have another American on, and then I got
to, well, you'll probably like this. Or I got.
Oh yeah.
See, I think that's my problem. I don't have a formal engineering degree. If I had, I could probably create proper drawings. But the things that I draw and write on paper, nobody can understand. Neither drawing nor written.
Understand them, that's all that matters. That's it. It's for yourself. I have 2 modes: quick and dirty, and no one can see, and then I take my time real slowly and draft it out if I know everyone's going to look at it. So, but I just want to say it's been great, Shane. And to let you know, I am currently working on a Wisconsin project, so I'll be up in Wisconsin a lot in the future. My company, we're designing the new Constellation class frigate for the U.S. Navy, which is being built in Marinette, Wisconsin right now. So
I caught wind of that. So definitely be in touch. We could always meet somewhere in between and do a Parks on the Air or a Summits on the Air or something for sure.
Yeah, if I'm there for extended period of time, got a day off, I'll drive across the state there. Maybe we can hook up and have some fun. That'd be cool.
All right. Yeah, definitely.
And speaking about drawings, I have one drawing and writing tool, and that's a Sharpie. I guess that's a work-related injury from being a sound engineer. I use fluorescent tape and a Sharpie for pretty much everything. Especially on my shack desk, I got pretty much. Let's see if the green screen picked this up. No, it doesn't. But I have fluorescent tape on everything that is dark, so I can find it on my desk. My next week, I honestly don't know because I have what could be called an unpredictable work week, probably. I know that I got 3 shows on Friday one Oktoberfest on Friday and 3 shows on Saturday. So I guess next weekend or next Sunday, which is my weekend, will be pretty much spent on the couch, probably watching YouTube. But I'm going to try to play around with the FT2D a little bit and try to learn how that works and see if I can manage to find out how to program this thing from an SD card. I've watched about 30 YouTube videos on it, but my radio does not work the way the radios on the videos work.
Yeah, but at least it has excellent and self-explanatory menus.
Yeah, pretty much, except sometimes you press the disk key and sometimes you have to press the screen. So
that was sarcasm, by the way.
Yeah. It is still a pretty easy radio to
still
program.
a so what do you expect here?
Yeah.
I have to say.
But there is, let's see if I can get this to show. I don't know how well this shows up, but there is some structure to the menus here, though. It's not like my FTDX 1200, which has had 482 menu items in one list. With
randomized lists, right?
Yeah, nothing, no logic behind it whatsoever. I had to, I needed to call the Yaesu guy in the club, and I had to have him come down and help me set up the radio when I got it. And he brought photos from his FTDX 3000 just to make sure that the settings were somewhat correct.
That's fantastic. I've said this on stream many times before. I love Yaesu radios. The radio part of it is fantastic. The user interface, it's made by people hating amateur radio operators. This is not an accident. It's an effort. You have to put in an effort to make it that difficult.
Let's see. Let's see if I can get this to focus somewhat. Let's see here. I press the menu key, and you actually have structure to it.
Yeah.
There's some logic behind it.
That's the thing that ICOM is good at, and I agree with you, Bob, with Yaesu. For me, Yaesu, I would be fine with their their clumsy menu structure, if they were consistent, each radio you get, they're clumsy. And, it's like they got a whole brand new team of engineers. They lock them in the room and says, "Okay, but you can't look at anything else we did, but make it just like it." It's painful.
Yeah, it is. It's a shame that they make such good radios.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
Yep.
But I guess that's why they're surviving as a company as well, though, because they
It's
actually
not.
make
It's not
good
the user
radios.
interface. That's for sure. Yeah.
No. But on that note, and about 10, 11 minutes on overtime, I think it's about time to say 7-3. And thank you, Shane, for joining us. You're welcome to join us whenever you want.
Oh, well, thank you very much for having me on. This has been an absolute blast. It's been great getting to know you guys.
And if any of you viewers aren't subscribed to Shane's channel, there's a link in the description. So make sure you subscribe to him. You're getting close to 1,000 subs now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm somewhere in that neighborhood now. So that's,
Cool.
yeah, very fun.
That's a big milestone.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's going to be great for you. And we also have a Discord. I think the link to the Discord is in the description as well. If you guys aren't on our Discord, please click that link and join. And on that note, I think it's time to say 7-3, and we'll see you next Saturday, next Sunday, and we might have a special guest. Just waiting for the final confirmation there. So 7-3, all. See you next Sunday.
7-3, guys.
7-3.
Bye, guys.